Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. I'd like to welcome everyone to the second Scarborough public consultation meeting. We had one this afternoon from 3 to 5, and we'll be speaking with or listening to you, the residents of, I'm assuming primarily Toronto, or primarily Scarborough, but it could be anywhere. This is part of the budget process, the part of the process which is an incredibly important part of our budget for operating and capital 2017, where we have an opportunity to listen to the residents of the city to express their opinions, concerns, positive or negative, on the upcoming budget that will be delivered or brought to City Council, I believe, on February 15th and 16th. Our staff have worked incredibly hard with the city manager for the last number of months, crafting a budget that has now come to the Budget Committee. And I just wanted to introduce my colleagues. Councillor Michael Layton was just here. There he is over there. Councillor John Burnside and Councillor Shelley Carroll. We are a subcommittee of the full Budget Committee. We have made a commitment to try to reach out to as many parts of the city as possible to hear deputations. So we actually have 6 different budget deputation or consultations happening over a 3-day period. So to do that, we had to split up the Budget Committee, unfortunately. So this is the opportunity out in Scarborough. We'll be doing East York, we'll be doing North York, York, downtown, Etobicoke, and I think we got it all. Yep. Anyway, so this is the opportunity
East York, yes.
East York will be on Monday. So I wanted to welcome everybody here. Just to let you know a few things, we will have you'll have an opportunity to speak to us for 5 minutes. I'll give you a bit of a nudge if you get to the 5 minutes or just after, just to wrap up. But we're hoping to be able to have the deputation in 5 minutes. And if there are any questions from any of the councillors, they'll be asking you afterwards. If you haven't registered, we have a list here of people who have registered. If you haven't registered and like to speak to us, please see the clerks just over here so you can register to speak to us. On that, let's get to what we're here for, is to listen to you. Are there any declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? Seeing none, we'll begin with the first deputant, Vincent Puhaka. Welcome. Again, you'll have 5 minutes. Just to let you know, by the way, everybody, you have time clocks that are on each side, so you can maybe look up and follow the time clocks as you speak. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm assuming this is working. Thank you. So thank you, councillors and staff, for coming here tonight. It's pretty cold outside, but it's good to have you here in Scarborough. So first of all, my name's Vincent. You did get my last name right. Thank you. I'm with an organization called Scarborough Transit Action, and I'm here to talk to you tonight about, I guess, fiscal sustainability in one of the city's largest line items, which is, of course, transit. So as you're well aware, as I'm sure everyone in the audience is well aware, we have a current plan on the books for a one-stop subway extension right here to the Scarborough Civic Centre. Now that's sitting at $3.2 billion capital funding so far, billion with a B, of course, and that's will set to rise as more work is done on the project. Now, that's capital funding that, of course, could be redirected, for example, let's say to the $2.5 billion capital backlog on the TTC, so for a state of good repair, bus stop rehabilitation, things of that nature, well, of course, leaving some money left over for getting other transit projects started. But you all know about the capital budget. I mean, it's something that's been in the news for a while. A couple of City Hall reporters at the Star are hammering this, Jennifer Pagliaro for one. But I also want to talk about operations funding. So for example, our other major suburban subway, which is the Shepherd subway, is currently subsidized at $10 per ride, on average. Now, myself and my organization are definitely in favor of subsidies for public transit. So that sounds good. The problem is, and as we all know, every single year it's a struggle to balance the municipal books. capital funding, of course, and operations funding. So, for example, the TTC is probably about $77 million short as it stands. So that kind of subsidy for $10 a ride for a few stations that are not very heavily used, to me, does not speak of fiscal sense, fiscal probity, or fiscal responsibility in the long term. Given the fact that we had a shovel-ready project for an LRT network in Scarborough, obviously the 7 stops that would have served the town center and the existing SRT with an extension, not to mention the larger network that would have been constructed. It seems odd to us that we're trying to build a plan that serves less people, that will set the city's financial future back in a negative way for years to come. And like I said, we already struggle to balance the books every single year. So spending this massive capital outlay with the expectation of massive operational outlay far into the future to serve very few riders makes little sense to us as an organization and to myself. And now a little bit of context. I've been in Scarborough my entire life. There's a few years in the UK, but mostly I'm living in Scarborough. And as a transit rider and as someone who believes in a strong city of Toronto, I'm mystified as to why this is still an issue, why we're building such a project, given its negative effect on our budget and a potential negative, or rather, adding nothing new to the transit network in Scarborough. So I guess to sum up, without taking too much more of your time, I'm very concerned about the project. My organization is very concerned about the project and the interests of a sustainable financial future and the interests of Toronto becoming a true transit city. And yes, I use those words deliberately. My call to you, I guess the ball being in your court right now, is to rethink this project. This needs to happen and needs to happen now. We had shovel-ready projects that would have had a less of a financial outlay on the city. So why don't we return to that, or at least consider ways in which we can return to some aspects of that project in the interest of serving Scarborough with transit and the interest of a sustainable financial future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Other questions? Councillor Layton. Oh, come back. Thanks.
It's more of a statement, but I will put it in the form of a question in order for it to be
Don't you think?
valid. Don't you think that? Or you probably wouldn't be surprised to hear that there's several councillors at City Hall that feel much the same way. I would encourage you, or would you be surprised to know that I would encourage you to continue your hard work, because what it's going to take in order for us to steer this ship quite significantly in a different direction will be the advocacy of Scarborough residents. It'll be those that want us to take a prudent, more fiscally responsible direction, one that serves more people of Scarborough in a more effective way with better transit. And I would just encourage you to continue your work and that of the organization.
Thank you, Councillor Layton.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next is Khalida Nasiri.
Khalida is a colleague of mine at Scarborough Transit Action. She could not make it today. She had dentistry done, so.
Okay, thank you very much. Next is Parthy Kandaval, trustee for Scarborough Southwest. Parthy?
School trustee, he's really impressive, and not a New Democrat. New Democrat.
Good evening. Thank you for making time for deputation. And of course, where you go. Hello, my name is Parthy Kandaval. I'm the Toronto District School Board trustee for Scarborough Southwest. I'm here today on behalf of the TDSB to share our deep concerns about the city's proposed elimination of the childcare occupancy grant and cuts to 75 new subsidized childcare spaces in the 2017 budget. This is not an abstract issue. This is a change that would directly impact families, making licensed childcare less accessible and more expensive. Here's how. These grants provide funding for childcares to lease space within schools across our city. The grants cover schools in all 4 school boards, the English and French public boards, and the English and French Catholic boards. Without this grant, we, the school boards, will need to recover costs directly from childcare centres, who will recover their increased costs directly from parents. We're talking about a potential increase in childcare fees for thousands of families across the city. The elimination of the occupancy grant would mean a fee increase for 60% of children who attend childcares in the TDSB alone. In our city, 75% of families already find licensed childcare unaffordable. These cuts threaten to put regulated childcare even further out of reach. In addition, the city budget proposes reducing the number of subsidized childcare spaces. With 18,000 children currently on the wait list for subsidized childcare in the City of Toronto, freezing the number of subsidized spaces available while making school-based care more costly will make quality care less accessible for more families. In fact, we are going to expand childcare spaces. The Ministry of Education has said we will see 2,000 new school-based spaces in the next 5 years. As a result, we will need more subsidies, far more than the 75 subsidized spaces that were to be added in the 2017 budget, which the city is now proposing to eliminate. Just to maintain the current ratio of 40%, in order to maintain this current ratio of 40% subsidized spaces to licensed spaces, we would actually require an additional 836 subsidies. Increasing the operating costs for childcare in our schools will put additional administrative strain on managers and require more staff time within childcare centers and school boards. It would also divert funds that could have been used to improve or expand programs to simply pay for the lease. Also, childcare and early learning now falls within the Ministry of Education. School boards are proud partners in building and supporting early learning and childcare, but the responsibility for funding school-based childcare rests with the City of Toronto and our provincial and federal governments. As a member of the City School Board Advisory Committee, the TDSB has called on the province to recognize and fund the full occupancy costs of childcare space in schools. We will continue to advocate for full funding for childcare spaces in schools. We know that providing families with safe, high-quality childcare is essential for student achievement and well-being in schools. School-based care programs offer students a seamless day of learning at one location. For our youngest learners, childcare is often their first introduction to a school environment and can help them prepare for school. It is so important that these programs not become even less affordable or less accessible than they are already for many families. We need, in fact, to be doing the exact opposite in Toronto. We need to be looking at ways to make licensed care available to more families to give every child the best possible start. What we need and what children and families need most is for the city to abandon these harmful cuts immediately. And what we should be doing, what we ought to be doing, is working together to create more safe and affordable childcare space and options across Toronto. Thank you for taking the time to hear our comments on behalf of the Toronto District School Board, and we trust they'll be in consideration as you make these important choices in the coming months. Thank you.
Questions? Okay, thank you, Parthy. Next is Nia Singh. And after Nia will be Keisha Anderson, then Miroslav Glavich. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, councillors. As we know, this is a very serious topic, and every year it comes up, the budget. When I started paying attention to the budget, it was about under 10 billion, it was about 9 billion a year. And I was like, what's happening with this $9 billion? That's a lot of money, where is it going? Now we're up to 12.2 billion. And that's a lot of money to work with, but we do have a large city. We are servicing the GTA, and those are very important concerns. But when we analyze the budget, at least about half of it is going to emergency services and transportation. Our TTC budget is now at $1.93 billion. And as we always raise the rates, the token rates and the fees, the service keeps decreasing. And the community's not happy with that, but there are simple ways to fix it. Increasing express service is one. Reducing the Metro Pass fares will increase people buying Metro Passes, increase revenue. $140 is just too much for a working class family. Decrease the weekly passes. One thing that Mayor Tory introduced with this free fares for 12 and under, it's a good idea, but we know it's not practical. We know the problems we're having. Make the fare for 12 and under $1, maybe $2. You will still generate revenue that way. I won't sit there and talk and just keep talking about the TTC because there's other things that we need to talk about, and that's nutrition. The gentleman before us, deputations have been mentioned about nutrition and the importance of it. If our city is going to allow kids to go to school hungry when we have a $12.2 billion budget, it is not responsible governance. Our city needs to look at revenue-generating tools, and one of them that's being greatly ignored, and I'm sure it's been said before, is the fact that our property taxes are the lowest of major cities in Ontario. A slight increase in property taxes will fill that $91 million budget gap that we have. If we keep trying to stay politically correct and not move our property taxes up, all we're going to be doing is looking for consistent revenue-generating tools that are going to gouge the low-income and middle-class earners. Our upper class in this city have it good. They're fine. There is a way that they can pay a little bit more so the rest can get by. People in this city work hard. They work hard and they need to have proper services. Where's the money going there's three questions. Where's the money going is one. Two, is it effective? And three, how can we generate more? I'm going to speak on something that's dear to my heart, and I think it's dear to the city. And it's something that can generate more revenue for the city, and that's Caribana. I'm sure you know for the past 10 years there's been a dispute with how the city has been managing Caribana. It's been taken from the original owners, and now it's being run by a different group. If you analyze the attendance from people over the past 10 years, every year the attendance has gone down. 2 or 3 years ago, a business owner in the West End of Toronto said it was the first year that not one American dollar reached his till. This is mainly because the city is not calling this the Caribana Festival. The cultural festival, just like many other cultural festivals in the city, generate money. When we are allowing something in this 50th year anniversary and our 150th year anniversary to deteriorate, we are affecting everybody, not just the Caribbean community. We're affecting the entire city of Toronto. Because in the heyday, Caribana earned $400 million of economic activity per year, which translated into $200 million of tax revenue. That would fill that $91 million budget. Take a look at the revenue now. If any study was done, you would see that's probably cut in half. Look at the hotels, the restaurants. We talk about simple levies. Why not, during our festivals, put a 0.5% levy on the hotels? That will generate money for the city and the community that are putting on these festivals. I really want to say, we know that it's hard. It's hard for you as councillors to manage the budget, but we cannot allow another revenue tool, such as tolls, to creep up on the city when what we should be doing is proper allocation of resources. There are so many people that are going to retire. They have good jobs, they make good money. But there's no need to replace those positions when they're gone. We're not talking about laying off people. But in all of our TTC, our police, our major institutions that are being governed, do not replace those positions. Allow them to succumb to technology, and then we will have more money available.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your deputation. Next is Keisha Anderson. Welcome, Keisha.
Hello, hi. I'm a long-term care health worker.
You can just move the mic down a little closer.
I work with the city long-term care health worker. I'm an RPN. And my concern is that if the budget is being taken away from the long-term cares, my concern is that the residents that I look after as a frontline staff will also lose out with the proper care that they need. You know, I work every day and I see that, you know, in the mornings we have to get the residents up and ready. The time, if we don't get them up at a certain time, you know, because of staff, we don't have enough staff helping out, they suffer. You know, we're looking after people's families. They need to get up in the morning to eat breakfast. We need more care. We need more people to support, workers to support the residents who we look after in the long-term care. They are suffering because money is being taken out of long-term care, and we cannot put more staff. They're saying there's not much budget in the staff. We're looking after people who have families who expect us to take care of them, but if we don't have enough staff to take care of them, they suffer. Also, when we have to feed the residents, we don't have enough staff to feed them. We have a certain time when we have to do certain things, certain time to get them up, certain time to feed them, certain time to get ready. They're not machines, they're human beings. They need to take time, and if we had more staff to help with the residents, to support them more, there will be no pressure on the staff nor the residents that we're looking after. Also in the food service working area, we want to make sure that the residents have enough food that is cooked properly, not rushed because there's not enough staff to support the residents, to feed them, to make the food properly. As a worker, we notice that we're pressured to do things, but we don't have enough staff to help us. So I would really appreciate it if you just would look into it. We're looking after many people who have families who we're looking after, who expect us to take good care of them if we have enough staff. So my concern, please, have mercy on the workers and also for the residents, that we have enough staff to take care of the residents in a long-term care home. Yes. Yes.
Sorry, Councillor Layton has a question for you.
Yes.
So thank you very much for that, and I think it speaks to one of the very, very important ways that people are the ones that deliver services in our city, and we struggle with this in a couple departments. Long-term care is one, our shelter and housing is another, where while it's discussed as a reorganization of staff, what it means is less people on the front line. And can you give us an idea of, on the front line, what work will not get done as a result of us reorganizing so that there's simply less people doing the level of work? Are you able to do that?
No, we need more frontline staff to deliver the quality of care. We don't want to do the job halfly and the residents suffer. We want to make sure that they get good care by having enough staff to support the residents, because we're dealing with family members. So if we have more staff, we're making the residents happy and also the family members happy, because you've seen that long-term care has been in the TV with the way how the care is given, and it's a shame. And it also benefits because we don't have enough staff to help out, and it's stressful for the residents, especially because we're dealing with residents who have behavioral problems. They're people. We have to be gentle care. We have to promote gentle care in the long-term care facility because we're dealing with people. We're not dealing with machines. We want the families to be happy that we're taking care of their family members in the home. So if you would have mercy and look to our budget and make sure that it's not cut, so we can give the quality care we want to give, because we go to school and we learn to do it. So we want to, carry out what we've learned to do with the residents in the long-term care.
Now, over the holiday break, there was an outbreak.
Yes.
Of I don't know what the virus was at the end of the day. A family member of mine works at a facility outside of Toronto, and all of a sudden he wasn't able to come to Christmas dinner as a result.
Yes.
Are you aware if that happened in the city of Toronto, or has it in your experience, and what happened with respect to staff?
Yes, it has. This year, actually, we're going through one right now, and the staff feels pressured because we have to make sure we take care of those residents who are feeling ill, and if we don't have enough staff, it's going to be hard and there's going to be more pressure. It's not only with the nurses, just everybody in that facility. You have the housekeeping, you have the dietary. We all have to make sure that we have enough staff in order to care for the residents.
And I don't mean to make you uncomfortable with what I'm going to say, and I'm going to say the words instead of you, but we're talking seniors,
Yes.
Perhaps with dementia,
Yes.
that are having serious bouts of vomiting, of diarrhea, of having extremely difficult conditions for staff, and yet no additional staffing.
Yes.
And in fact, we're now considering a different direction in our approach as a city, whether or not we should be in the business of doing long-term care or not. And I think there's a debate whether or not that should be the case. However, we're in this position now, and we want to make sure that these seniors have good care. But these are the types of conditions you're under. Now, in your experience, do other members or clients, residents of a facility require less care when these other residents require more care?
No, they all require the same amount of care, regardless if we're having an outbreak. They all need the same amount of care, and they suffer when we're short of staff. You know, we want to treat, you know, full-timers, part-timers equally. Sometimes part-timers are shortchanged because they do their part by sometimes coming early, not getting paid, and also working overtime and getting cut off, not getting their overtime paid because they want to help the residents.
You know, I've had 3 grandparents and a great-grandmother go through seniors care in the city of Toronto. None, I believe, at city facilities, but at facilities similar. And I just wanted to thank you very much for all your hard work, that you make it so much easier for families and to our most cherished ones as they live out their final years. Thank you.
Would I be able to add a couple of points that would add information to Michael Layton's questions?
Yeah, you can add it. Yeah, that's not the right time, but yeah, you got a minute or two.
Okay. Tim McGuire, President of QP Local 79. Thank you very much for it. Takes a lot of courage for frontline workers to come forward if never spoke before. 3 quick points. We've been doing a number of labor management meetings in each of the long-term care facilities, looking at what the issues are and trying to work collaboratively to find solutions. One of the issues that's been identified, and it came out in one of the budget documents as well, our members as frontline workers have to go certain training, some non-mandatory, some mandatory training. And they're feeling, because of the workload pressures and not enough staff to do the work, they actually sometimes do that training online at home. There's a comment in the budget about cutting the number of hours, number of shifts to support those workers so they can do their training. They're going to do that training at home. They ought to be paid while they're doing that training and do it in a thorough way. So I would make that note. There's also a note about reduced hours and we're not clear about what that is. Some of that stuff's confidential at this point. But broadly, another comment I want to make is during our recent round of negotiations, we got information in terms of the number of unfilled shifts at long-term care facilities at the city's homes. 35,000. 35,000 unfilled shifts. We're in discussions with the department, the division, to try and see how we can make sure that those shifts get filled and what those actually mean. The division has indicated some of those are actually full-time shifts that haven't been replaced, but those are services that ought to be provided to Toronto citizens, to Toronto senior citizens, and others that are in the long-term care facilities. And again, I want to thank her for her service and courage to come and speak.
Yeah. Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much. Next is Miroslav Glavich. I didn't see him previously. I don't think he's actually here. No. Next is Imrana Raza. And after Imrana will be Jennifer McKelvey.
Good evening, everyone. I am Imrana Raza, Coordinator, Student Nutrition Program, and a parent volunteer at Banting and Best Public School, Scarborough, Ward 41. Our morning meal program started in May 2014 by Principal Ken McKinnon, in which we are serving 385 students each morning with 3 food groups: dairy, grain, fruit, or vegetable. Our morning meal menu is healthy and nutritious, prepared and served following the guidelines of Toronto Public Health, Canadian Food Guide, TDSP, Student Nutrition Program, and Food Share. We sometimes have to be innovative with our menu for promoting healthy eating. For example, we freeze the frozen yogurt and give the kids. Kids love it to eat like freezies. At Banting and Best, from May 2014 to December 2016, we have served 81,831 morning meals to our 385 students with the help of our student volunteers and parent volunteers. Student nutrition program is universal, offered to everyone regardless of their ability to contribute financially, making sure that their nutritional needs are met daily, respecting any of their food restrictions. religious, cultural, or health like food allergies, vegetarian, halal, or kosher, etc. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and through student nutrition program, we facilitate that every child in the school is nourished and is able to learn and focus. Participation in the morning meal program result in several key academic outcomes like EQAO. Results improved in 2015 and 16 and Banting and West Public School by being at or above the provincial standards. The SNP has also a multi-dimensional educating platform. The students are learning healthy eating practices like portion sizes or watching calories, environment and eco-friendly habits, and social practices through this program. Banting and West Public School have a platinum status for being an eco-friendly school, and our student nutrition program is a partner in it. Students and teachers reuse, recycle the yogurt cups, cereal balls, cartons, wooden cases by using them for class activities. Children use empty milk cartons, and they fill them with water, left them in the yard to freeze, and then they got the ice cube activity for 3D shapes and temperature. Also, the wooden cases were used to make models, and cereal balls reused for water painting in the summer. Also, the workshops and trainings provided by the Food Share, Toronto Public Health, and Student Nutrition Program are giving the confidence and training to our parent volunteers, helping them to go out in different fields and find jobs. Toronto is facing child poverty with 28.6% of children living in low-income households. Today, over 195,000 meals are served daily in 826 student nutrition program in 750 schools. This is a big contribution for the health and well-being of the children and youth of our city, which are our future. I want to thank the City of Toronto for their ongoing support and financial contribution. The province and corporate partners like Haddon Foundation are also supporting the program. I also want to mention here the financial contribution from the parents, which shows that they value the benefits of student nutrition program and the benefits of healthy eating. All these contributions make it possible for us to provide children with healthy meals every day across the city. Our nutrition program is very successful as it is loved by students, parents, and the community as they provide very positive feedback about it. And it is also appreciated by the school. Especially the new immigrants and low-income families are indirectly and their children are directly benefiting from this program. Of course, we are facing the challenges like the increasing food prices, especially dairy and fruits, increasing demand for the storage space, equipment like industrial refrigerators, of course, with the increasing number of students in the program, increasing gas prices, which affect the delivery charges. These challenges need proper planning and support to keep this program running efficiently to provide healthy meals and snacks to the children in need. On a personal note, nothing made me happier when a mom said to me that because of the nutrition program at school, my 6-year-old son, started eating apples. I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to share about our student nutrition program, and I would like you to come sometime and visit our program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Next is, thank you. I appreciate that. Next is Jennifer McKelvey. And after Jennifer will be Sergei Petrov, Paul Beatty, then Amanda Kane. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Dr. Jennifer McKelvey. I'm here tonight in my capacity as chair of the Scarborough Community Renewal Organization, also known as SCRO. Our registered nonprofit organization is committed to creating and realizing bold visions to renew Scarborough. As I'm sure you're aware, while Toronto's core economy is performing exceptionally well, Scarborough residents continue to suffer from a lack of investment and a lack of jobs. As such, SCRO would like to see 4 very important priorities championed in this year's budget to stimulate the Scarborough economy. The first priority is to ensure that there is adequate funding for the necessary engineering and geotechnical studies for both the Scarborough subway to Scarborough Centre and for the Scarborough Crosstown Light Rail Transit Line to U of T Scarborough. Scarborough needs a fully integrated transit system that includes the subway, new light rail, buses, and improved GO Transit. The either-or discussion about the subway and the LRT needs to stop. As such, we are asking that Toronto Council ensure that there's adequate funding for both the Scarborough Subway and the Scarborough Crosstown LRT in the budget. We want to see the geotechnical and engineering studies completed as soon as possible so that the construction can proceed. Our second priority is $2.5 million over 2 years for a feasibility study for a living arts facility in Scarborough. We envision that the facility will be a combined museum, art gallery, theater, and concert performance space located in Scarborough that will meet the needs of all Toronto residents. This proposed signature iconic structure will also function to create incentive to stimulate private sector investment in Toronto's Eastern District. The discussion about a living arts center started here in council chambers back in 1984, but the discussion didn't carry forward to the amalgamated City of Toronto. We are therefore asking that you include $2.5 million in funding over 2 years for a feasibility study on the location, funding and partnership opportunities, development and construction opportunities of a new living arts facility in Scarborough. We feel that this facility can stimulate growth for Toronto's arts and cultural communities and serve as a vehicle for rebranding Scarborough, creating jobs, and it will be a cultural and entertainment hub for all Toronto residents to enjoy. Our third priority is $1.5 million for a planning study over 1.5 years for Scarborough Centre. This study would look at land availability around this civic center and the land use designations, and look at how to develop Scarborough Centre in a way that will promote the establishment of corporate headquarters, business incubators, and startups, as well as other employment opportunities. This would also look at how the lands could be used for new City of Toronto municipal buildings in the future. Our organization has and will continue to advocate for the City of Toronto to show leadership by bringing an additional 3,000 municipal jobs to Scarborough, and some of those could be housed in this building and in adjacent new buildings. Our fourth priority is $500,000 over 1 year for a Scarborough-specific economic development plan. This plan would provide a cohesive Scarborough-specific plan and would involve a comprehensive public consultation. We strongly feel that Scarborough needs a vision for economic growth, and we feel that measurable targets for job creation should be established. It is time for Scarborough to shift from a retail economy to one that is more diversified and includes more professional, technical, and manufacturing jobs. The economic development plan should align Scarborough's workforce with a local strategy for economic growth and job creation. We need a plan for creating opportunities for skilled, talented, and the passionate workers of Scarborough in Scarborough. Thank you for this opportunity for SCRO to provide input to the City of Toronto budget process. We strongly feel that all 4 priorities must be included in the budget. We look forward to working collaboratively with you to renew Scarborough. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Just a question for you. So these 4 priorities, has there been any discussion with any levels of city staff or anywhere before you presented, or are these brand new items that you're wanting us to consider?
We're a new organization. We were only incorporated last year, so coming from us, it is new. I do want to reiterate, though, that the Living Arts Facility, that was in consideration before amalgamation. And there was extensive discussion about that in feasibility studies, but then it just fell off the table. And we're working to pull out all that old documentation to get this going.
Okay, now I noticed the next speaker is Sergei Petrov, who's the director of Scarborough Arts. Have you had any discussions with Serge on this Living Arts facility?
We've been reaching out to some of the different stakeholders in Scarborough. We're working right now on a letter that will seek signatures from all of them in support of that. Right now, we're looking for funds to look at feasibility to see if there's even merit to the idea.
Okay. Anyway, Serge is up next, so I suggest
Yes,
that
we've been speaking with Sasha and some different folks at Scarborough Arts. So.
Great. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you.
Serge, there we go. Good introduction. Next is Sergei Petrov, who's the director of Scarborough Arts.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me here and everyone. I'm not going to take too much of your time today. I think we've met throughout the last few months and years. I'm representing the arts sector in Scarborough in particular. So my first point is a huge thank you of support that the city and all of you councillors across the city have shown to arts organizations. Your investment, continued investment into our sector has proven to be quite a success, and I'll talk to that in a moment. By working together, so by you seeing value in what we do at Scarborough Arts and other organizations that serve the city through arts, it's a proven proven theory of sorts that the arts is the driving force of a society, or better yet, it's the recording needle of our history. We have to invest to make sure we tell our story of Scarborough, Toronto, Canada, and humanity in general in the best possible ways. And books, films, paintings, music, and everything else is the easiest and best way to tell that story. As you know, Scarborough Arts is one of the local arts services organizations. There are 6 of us out there in the city. There's obviously Toronto Arts Council and many other smaller and bigger art organizations, collectives, and groups. And collectively, we impact thousands of artists and millions of individuals annually. I brought some stats from just our own organization, Scarborough Arts, that I'll pass through, and maybe it can be given to you as well as collectively through local arts services organizations, our impact on the city. And we can do it without you, that's for sure, without your investment. We're there to make sure that the city and communities within thrive. Since 1978, when the Scarborough Arts was founded, we served the borough and our community here, and the greater city of Toronto overall. We've brought many artists and individuals together. Just last year, Scarborough Arts brought over 6,500 individuals to 150 workshops and events that brought together 130 volunteers, 200 paid artists, 300 exhibit pieces, engaging over 100 partners from University of Toronto Scarborough to local groups and organizations such as well, starting the discussions with Scarborough Renewal Organization. Impact on arts, on humans, on their views, on education, and individuals of who they are, what the community means to them. Arts shapes that understanding, and I think we all know and I hope you all know that. So thank you for the past year and for your continued support. We have to work together, all of us here in this room. From the moment I joined Scarborough Arts just over a year ago, I told my staff and those who approached us my door is always open. So yes, I'm here to talk about arts, but for the last year or so, I've been reaching out across the city, across this wonderful borough to community organizations, service organizations, and seeing how our arts can infuse the practices of seniors and youth and other services, from health and safety standards and many other ways that arts can infuse and support those programs. And I'm trying to find out personally and through our board and through our partners, how do we work together for the best impact on the dollars. I'm here on behalf of a very large community of groups and artists, co-workers, partners, to ask you for your continued aggressive investment into arts. It might be the easiest and best way to make sure that our world is a better place. So, like it or not, it has to start here. Thank you very much, and I'll pass this information to you.
Thank you, Sergei. Councillor Layton has a question.
Sure.
Thank you very much, Sergei. In 2013, I think it was, it's actually Councillor Crawford and others on council had spearheaded an effort to set the city on a course to gradually increase the per capita funding from the city of Toronto to the arts in general across the city, to $25 per capita, which is the 2005 equivalent
Numbers,
of what
yes.
Montreal was spending.
Yes.
Since then, Montreal's spending per capita is closer to $75, is my understanding.
Something like that, yes.
But we had a goal, and we weren't there yet. The budget as proposed is suggesting that we pause on our I think it was a 5-year plan.
That's right.
To increase about $2 million a year to increase the funding per capita to $25, which would have been done in 2018. I think
2017 is the last year. This is last year.
Last year. So we're 1 year out from doing that.
Yes.
And we're proposing to not complete the task that we set out to under Mayor Ford. What would your suggestion be?
I mean, I didn't talk about the $25 per capita bill because I think all of you, at least, you so graciously met with the TAPA committee as well a couple of weeks ago, and throughout you understand what's at stake. There have been numerous studies. I didn't touch upon those specifics because that's been kind of mentioned many times over. But you're absolutely right. It seems like this year is the final year to just finish that $25 per capita on course. There are many things in terms of there's a growth in the residents, so it's actually not 25, it's actually going to be less, but we're just saying 25, let's just finish it. I have to tell you, I've worked in Scarborough for several years. I started the Scarborough Worldwide Film Festival 5 years ago to infuse this borough through culture in a very international way. And I joined as an executive director at Scarborough Arts just over a year ago. The investment that I saw personally from going to where we were, just a couple of percentage points that allowed this organization to hire additional workers, to shape this organization in such an easy way. But because I come from a very independent production background, I was able to manage the money quite well. To even though that increase is not nearly where it's not enough for where we all want to be. However, it already allowed us to make substantial gains in addressing the needs of the collectives and individual artists. So the final increase to $25 per capita is going to impact dramatically to Scarborough Arts, to all the organizations that this increase impacts. And there is during the Toronto Arts Alliance, Performing Alliance, there is a discussion to what's next. So we were aiming high in terms of going for a $50 per capita, which is in line to other major cities across Canada, across the world. So we're not, by finishing $25 per capita, I think we all understand that this is just a step towards something better and bigger. The investment I think we all saw for the last 5-6 years that the city has been making into the arts impacted the cultural sector in an unprecedented way like never before, through festivals and events and workshops and the paid artist and volunteer engagement and opportunities and allowing us to support others as well through what we do.
So it's safe to say you wouldn't want us to lose that momentum?
Absolutely not. I think there's so much to gain and so much to prove as well. Like I said at the beginning of a discussion, is that my personal door is always open. So whenever you feel there is a need that we're not doing, and I think it goes the same for other LASOs and other art organizations, if there's something that you feel we're not doing, please call us and let us know, because we're there to make sure that our city is the one to visit and to live in and to be proud of. And we think arts is one of the best ways to do that. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sergei. Paul Beattie? And after Paul, it's Amanda Kane.
Good evening, councillors. I don't have any written speeches or anything. But what I'm here for is, first off, I'd like to ask you, has the police budget been increased over $1 billion?
You can't actually ask questions as part
I can't ask questions? Oh.
You can speak to us.
But I can't ask? No, okay. The other thing is, I have a problem with this supposed canceling the child nutrition program. When I read in the paper about the TTC barns going millions of dollars over budget, the extension to Vaughan Subway going millions of dollars over budget, $2.5 million proposal to put about some park over the railway yards, increased spending on bicycle lanes, yet there's, kids like this young lady up here who's going to get told, I don't know who on council would tell this young lady she's not going to have a breakfast or a lunch for $700 and something thousand when you can spend millions with no problem. This is beyond me. I do not understand this at all. So you get somebody in council to stand up and tell this young lady she's not going to have breakfast because we have to study some parkland, 31 acres over railway yards, which makes no sense. Okay, do I get my point across, gentlemen? Thank you. Any questions? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Amanda Kane. Oh, there's Amanda. Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, good evening. I've heard from lots of residents that they feel the City Council is waging war on their families, where working citizens are in many cases living paycheck to paycheck. My name is Amanda Kane, and I'm running for council for Ward 42 by-election, but I'm also a parent of 3 boys who has and likely will use a child care center that is located within a school. I'm aware that due to a citywide budget deficit, services and their associated costs are being trimmed. However, families in the city are being priced out of the very services that are supposed to be enabling them to be productive members of society. If council agrees to reduce the Children's Services operating budget by $5 million, the impact on parents will be astounding. Children who are in care at centers within schools would see that their fees increase by $350 upward to $600 more per year. In Scarborough Rouge River, Ward 42, we have 9 of our 12 daycares are located within schools. For parents to face such an increased cost for the exact same service is unacceptable. We are seeing increased cost to TTC, recreation, rent, mortgages, food, insurance, and yet most of our salaries remain the same. Let's keep Toronto a livable city and not force families to leave for another jurisdiction because council has decided to download more cost onto taxpayers. Let me explain what this does to a family. Daycare is often the most expensive item line for a family's budget, or perhaps the second. Perhaps that single mom that can't afford that additional cost removes her child from care. Perhaps the strain of finding another option for care forces her out of work and she ends up on the system she's been trying to escape. What about that hardworking family that sees both parents employed on contract work? They decide this increased fee is a cost they can no longer bear. One parent stops working to raise the family, and then the remaining working parent doesn't have their contract renewed. This is a reality in our city. We are contract workers. Now we see a family in crisis, needing emergency city services when all of this could have been avoided. A great majority of families in Toronto face these realities every day. I know. I am one of them. And as a community advocate for the past 20 years, I have worked with families to solve these issues. Today, I recommend to Council to increase childcare fee subsidies to support the childcare capital plan and to build the 530 licensed spaces over the next 2 years. In addition to the 75 fee subsidies approved by Council in 2016 to support the poverty reduction strategy. Please maintain the school board occupancy grants and call on the Ministry of Education to pay for childcare accommodation costs in schools. Implement the second year of the childcare 5-year sustainability plan to increase base budget and reduce the draw from the expansion reserve, as approved by Council in 2016. As a former member of the Children's Services Committee, we dealt with this issue 10 years ago, pulling money from the expansion reserve. I also recommend that Council amend the TTC Fair Pass program and to roll it out in 2017 through means that won't cost a penny. Allow for TTC transfers to be reusable for a 2-hour period. Reduce the cost of the pass by 50% and to make it available to everyone who is low income, not just those who already receive benefits such as housing and daycare subsidies, ODSP and Ontario Works. Remove the age barrier for those who are 18 and under and over 65. Let us not forget about the teen parents who need to pay to continue to work hard to drop their children off to daycare, attend school, work part-time, and make it back home. Seniors who want to be engaged in healthy lifestyles and remain active and mobile. At the rate we're going, residents who are planning on raising families in Toronto may choose that they can't afford to do it here. Let's keep Toronto a viable option for families.
Thank you very much. Councillor Layton has a question or two.
Thank you very much, and I'm really glad that you raised this, the funding strategy for the child care reserve, because this is, I think, something that's being totally missed in a lot of our budget discussion here. In 2015, we undertook a course to, over the period of 5 years, switch over from this reserve, right? And really, this would have been like year 2. Last year, rather than start us on that course, we took 2.4 million out of the reserve. Is that right, Mr. 2.4 million from the reserve that now is showing up as a pressure this year. So we're not only that 2.4% shy, but we should have taken 3.6% from a draw reserve, or we're going to take a 3.6% draw on reserves this year. We're just getting further and further behind. And I'm told that there's $20 million in the reserve. So if I do the math correctly, at about $4 million a year, we've got a couple years left. But once that runs out, and this doesn't sound weird, but do you know what happens? Because I don't.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we'd have to look back into our records to see if we face that previously.
It's a scary proposition in having a child in childcare, not having a subsidy, but at the same time, knowing that our centers function on that. If those other parents don't have subsidies, their children won't be in there because they won't be able to afford it because it's $2,000 a month.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Chechanya Kalavar. Hopefully I pronounced the name. You'll have to correct me if I've...
You got it pretty good.
Did I? Good. Sometimes you bungle the names, but...
They just call me Chai for short.
Chai. I know the face, Chai. So.
Okay, good. I'm glad you know the phrase. Firstly, thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you. I have been in Toronto, as some of you may remember, since David Crombie passed that 80-feet bylaw, if you remember. And now, of course, 80 feet means nothing. Things are over 800 feet, and that's how we look at the city now. So we have got a condo explosion. And as I keep saying, I have a poem which says that, I will just summarize it by saying, skyline is rising, and out there the tree line is falling. And the tree line is falling, and species are disappearing. So all the development in the city has an effect outside. Nobody is thinking of that. We have now so far discussed, as I see, a dollar budget. Or as people would say, is the economy stupid? Well, I say it's the environment, smart guys. Look at it. We have 2 existential problems. And they're best described in my book, of course. It's called Climate Change in the Nuclear Age. Climate change is very real. This smart city of Toronto, which has a habit of taking lead, it should not just have a dollar budget, but it should also have a carbon budget. Carbon budget decided from the limits of carbon dioxide that are available on the planet. When are we going to do that? We have a problem. We just started these tolls on the two highways. Why are there no tolls on the Bay Street and University Avenue? That's discriminatory. I think we should have something that will cover all streets, not just two highways. So what do we do? Well, I support progressive gas tax. What it means is bigger cars pollute more, and that's obvious. And pollution is a bad thing, so it should be taxed. So bigger cars should be taxed more. What is so wrong about that? Let some of those fat-ass guys driving fat-ass cars get into a small car, if they can fit in, or ride a bike. We can have more room for bike lanes. Less pollution, and better for climate change, less climate change. Okay, having said that, now let's look at our nuclear issues. We do not have anything to do with the Pickering nuclear station. Mr. Layton, are you with me? We don't have any nuclear station within the boundary, but it is very close, and it's 45 years old. Its design life as an engineer, I know, was 30 years. It has been extended many times, and they want another extension. It's like we are driving an old car for a long ride. Not acceptable. The only thing that is we can do now with the way OPG is they have given us small KI tablets. The audience here, I suggest that nobody has got those KI tablets, even though they are available for free. This council should take steps to make sure that everybody in the city has KI tablets by whatever means you can promote through your mailing, emails, sites, whatever. So everybody should get KI tablets in City of Toronto. That's the very first thing that we should do as a first line of defense against anything happening in Pickering. Second thing, city should consider, since the nuclear industry has lost its credibility, city should consider having some kind of radiation monitoring on the borders of Toronto with Pickering. Because we don't trust their press releases. And a third thing I would suggest, I would like you to know that, maybe you don't know, that the tritium level in Lake Ontario is about 3 times higher than in Lake Superior. And nobody has done anything about it, but we drink out of Lake Ontario.
Thank you, Chai. Your time has run out.
I know, but the nuclear danger hasn't run out, and neither the climate change.
That's a good way to end. You're right. Thank you very much. Other questions? Seeing none, appreciate the opportunity to hear you.
Okay, let's catch up with times and not live in a pre-nuclear age.
Okay. Next is Santhi Thuray Raja. Welcome.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for giving this chance. I am a Sri Lankan lady. My age is 75 years. I came from Canada before 20 years. Now I am a disability. I have 2 heart attacks and a stroke within 15 days. Bottom of the heart muscles, 80% death. Only 20% working my heart. Scarborough Dr. Martin Myers, my cardiologist, told, I can't do any surgery for you. When I give anesthesia, you will die. I will give medication. You go to Variety Village to exercise, 93 Birch Mount to go swimming pool, and yoga class, the senior center, and Tai Chi, anything you can exercise, you must induce your heart yourself. I can't do any surgery. Since the day I go to Variety Village, 2 heart attack and stroke, that's the condition. I go to Variety Village, 93 Birchmount, yoga class, swimming class, everywhere by wheel trans. Sometimes very difficult to do, but still I go every day. No, every day I go to Variety Village, exercise, 93 Birchmount, hot pool swimming, yoga class, Zumba class, everywhere, and senior center. Nowadays, unfortunately, spinal stenosis coming. I go to Scarborough Hospital and St. Michael Hospital and Sunnybrook Hospital. Everywhere I go, they told, I went MRI, done. They told spinal stenosis coming, lumbar 4 and 5 very tight. You must do surgery. Spinal stenosis and sciatic pain. No blood circulation in my 2 legs. I can stand 1 second. I can stand 1 second. My legs are numb and freeze. That's the reason I do take my walker. Very difficult. 1 second I can stand. Before I study, go to Harmony Hall. Everywhere I go to exercise, doing, dancing, everything. Now I can stand 1 second. I can make a tea. Make a tea or oats in the counter table. I can stand. That's the problem. Very difficult. I want to die. Sometimes I think. Nowadays, I can't do any surgery everywhere. Every doctor's told. I go to chiropractor every day. I go to chiropractor, massage therapy, acupuncture. Everywhere I go and do yoga again and again. Early morning, 5 o'clock, get up and in the mat at home, do maximum. I do my best yoga class. I am a very good yoga. But now I can stand. No blood circulation in my leg. Still, I want to go everywhere. Otherwise, I sleep. No way. No blood circulation. Heart is working only 20%. I go book the wheel trans every day. Book the wheel trans. You see, sir. Book the day. Every week I book wheel trans. Every day I book the wheel trans. Book the wheel trans. Once in a whole, every officer knows me, Shanti. Book the wheel trans and go. Alone. I go, do my best. Please, I go to chiropractor money, massage therapy money, physiotherapy money, acupuncture money. Today also go to a chiropractor, acupuncture everywhere. And then 93 Birchmount swimming and coming and then book the wheel trans and coming here. Please, I want only 1 bus pass. Please, I booked, I have asked the wheel trans TTC, they send bus pass 15th on the month and take money my account. But no money. Everywhere I go, money. Please give me 1 bus pass, senior bus pass. Nowadays, 107. Please take 1 bus pass for free. That's I want you. Otherwise, I have 10 years before I booked the senior center to the connection, the housing board. Still, they don't give. My husband passed away last year. I am alone. When I come to Canada, still 45 Sunrise, 20 years I am living the same place, 104, my apartment.
Thank you, Santhi.
Very cold, and I come. Please give me only one bus pass, give me free, please. That's why I want to take the wheel trans, go to everywhere.
Okay, we appreciate you coming in. We really do appreciate hearing from you.
Pardon?
We really appreciate hearing from you. Thank you.
Can you please give me one bus pass in the TTC book for me, free bus pass?
I'll have to get somebody to speak with you afterwards, but unfortunately, we can't look at that right now. I will get somebody hopefully to speak with you before the night is over. Thank you. I can't give you an answer right now, but I'll see if we can get. I can't give you an answer right now, but we'll see if we can have somebody speak with you before the night is over, before we finish tonight. Thank you. Maybe somebody could give her a hand. Next is Joy Robertson to speak. Welcome, Joy. Thank you. You have 5 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joy Robertson. I'm president of Scarborough Residents Unite. We are the resident association located in Scarborough Village. And first of all, very heart-wrenching from the former person, and I would like to just reiterate the reason for more resident leadership and resident groups and more humanitarian types of efforts and focus into the budget and into our decision-making process. I think definitely we need to put people first. I did not particularly have a speech planned for today or deputation speech in particular, but I have noticed that some of the things that we have in our priority, that they are being taken care of. Some of the things that Scarborough Residents Unite were involved with recently was in support of transit, particularly because transit is something that would definitely aid the economic development of Scarborough Village and Scarborough on the whole. So this is something that Scarborough Residents Unite aims for and pushes for. The other thing that we supported was the landlord licensing, which would better the lives of many of our residents in Scarborough, particularly in Scarborough Village that has in upwards of about 20-something buildings. A lot of those buildings are actually Toronto community housing buildings, and they're very deplorable. So we're actually, we're very focused in where we advocate, how we advocate, and our goal and our vision is basically to continue to focus and continue to focus on particularly residents' issues, like the young lady that just spoke and other residents in our area. That being said, I would like to let you know that just a few weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago, we did a radio talk show on AM 640 regarding the Eglinton Avenue East being the most deadliest street. I really haven't heard much about that today, and I would like this budget to start. I would like there to be an effort, at least, to put Eglinton Avenue East and more additions to crosswalks to stop the killing of our residents. I would like to see an addition to the budget to accommodate that. We would also like to focus on one aspect of our community walk. Last year we had a community walk, actually, I think it was 2 years ago. Now, from that community walk actually had 3 segments. It was a peace walk, first and foremost, in respect to some of the crimes that we had in the community, which we still do have in pockets of our community. We also dealt with, another segment of the walk was poverty reduction, and the other segment was poor living conditions. So the fact that the poor living conditions is basically underway and is being worked on, and the fact that transit will now take care of some of the poor living conditions, we are now left with crime. And we would like to focus on the inclusivity of Scarborough Residents Unite and how and what we represent in Scarborough. First of all, in order for us to all move forward, I think we all need to be at the table. And I mean all the dropouts, all of the kids that do not have place to go to in the evenings. I think we really need to look at the underlying issues that are systemic and that are feeding crime. So I would like to see some focus placed on priority for crime in our community, because crime affects all of us. So that's my contribution for today. Didn't have a speech, but thank you for having me.
You did well, thank you. Last speaker of the evening is Nicola Bino, I believe I spell it, Bino. Welcome.
Good night. I am here and I sit and I've listened. But most of all, I've sit and I've listened every year. And each year I've heard how much funding is being cut to the most vulnerable. And it affects me, and I've sit and I've got up into my community and I've started thinking making a difference in my community and surrounding will actually help. But then I realize me making a difference, it's not just good enough. You guys need to be making a difference too. And that difference means each year when there's a crime or there's something, when you have a kid in school and that kid is diagnosed with a behavioral problem, he goes to school and there's suspensions and there's all the stuff. But when something really bad happens, then you get the police and you get some funding. And I don't know what to say about it. Then you live in housing and it run down and we're living bad. But then something happen again and there's some funding is ready to be given to us. Then there's your child in daycare, and then they no more longer can be in daycare because now after 4 you're in whole day school. So it just seems like each year I hear how much poverty it is. I hear how high priority we are, how much the seniors are struggling. I just continue to hear how much we're a burden. But I never heard how much we're giving back. Because when we live in TCHC, We do pay 30% of our income, but that is the gross. This is not after tax. Nobody talks about that part. And when I'm working, I do pay my full rent. And if I do happen to have a child with a disability, and the school decide to call me and say, you need to come and pick your kid up, unfortunately, I'm a single mother, I need to do that too. But then I still need to pay my bills, and I still need to be responsible. But then there's a cut, and that cut again is on me. So I just seems to be going deeper and deeper down. But yet, Canada seems to be a good country. When I came for a better life. Yes, I got that better life by fighting more than I would have ever fight if I was in my country. I got that better life by getting up and doing more than I would have done if I was in the poverty that I was born to. Then I sit back and I look, and every year, City Hall continue to cut. But then I get a new name. I'm high priority. But I'm still being cut. But I'm still in the high priority bracket. Then, no, I'm no longer high priority. Now I'm low income. But I'm still being cut. So what exactly is the message you're sending to me and my children? And for somebody that work hard and continue to work hard. But then I thought these cuts and all of these stuff was just for me. Then I had Rob Ford, he said he was cutting the gravy train. I said, well, finally the rich is going to be cut. Then I found out that was me again. Parks and Recs program, I no longer have 3 sessions. Now I only have 3 something a month. So, a year. So it just gets interesting. But the more interesting it gets, then I see my seniors, and I see that you show me commercials of how, from the government, how when a seniors is being abused and whatever. Then the seniors turn 65, they're off a disability, pension time. Now the senior no more longer has a cap on the rent. Every year they get a little bit and it goes up. So my question is, you said don't ask any, I heard that, but I'm still going to ask this one. What is the message that you're sending to me when you continue to cut, and you continue to put us more lower in poverty, but then you continue to put names and barriers? If I want to send my child to a program, it needs to be a special one. And besides that, he needs to be in a bracket. So if there isn't a bracket, he can't get in the program. When he's acting out and he's being good, there's no program to sustain. There's nothing basically for me. So I'm just a poor woman that is trying to ask city councils, why aren't you ashamed of yourself? Because I'm ashamed of myself to even be here and have to ask these questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I do appreciate, and what I can say is your voice does matter, and on behalf of my colleagues, we do hear what you're saying. Absolutely. We do that. I know, and listen, we do understand that. Thank you. Seeing no other speakers, I believe there's nothing else. No. Okay. Can I have a motion to receive the deputations? Councillor Burnside, all in favor? Oh, actually, we have that the Budget Committee for City Hall, Scarborough, and East York Centre consultation received from information, the public presentations, and the communications submitted by members of the public.
I'm not sure if we can. Are we able to speak to?
I'll give a bit of leeway. Yes.
Yeah. Just by way of thanks to the community for coming out and speaking to us this afternoon and today. Likely most of the people from this afternoon have gone home. I think that a very, very important point was made by the last speaker, And that speaks to who is this budget serving in our community. And throughout the day, we've heard a couple of things. One, that the decision not to extend the school nutrition program or along the plan that we have developed to go into the 6th year to take on 45 new schools, 15,000 new students, to extend that program to them and to invest in making all the programs better. That doesn't seem to me like a budget that's really serving our city effectively. To the last speaker's point around rec programs, if you look beyond the priority centers, and I agree with the approach of the priority centers that provide free programming, but that doesn't take care of all the pockets of people in the city who can't afford to access programming either through private centers or through our community centers. And you look at what we're proposing is to actually increase above inflation by a significant amount the cost of young families to enroll their kids into recreation, mostly introductory recreation programs and arts programs. That's a shame. And while we obsess over this notion of an inflationary tax increase, we quite easily dole out above inflationary increase to public transit, like we heard from our speaker earlier, who was begging us for a simple bus pass. We quite readily increase above inflation recreation fees. We very easily talk about the removal of what could be considered a subsidy to some families who have their kids in childcare at TDSB facilities. But that's a subsidy with parents that are paying upwards of $2,000 a month already, while we have an enormous wait list for subsidies. I think it's a failing of council and of this budget that we're not turning the ship in that regard and saying enough of putting the costs of running a great city and actually developing a really great society here in Toronto, enough of that cost being shouldered by parents, by children, by the arts community, by those suffering the most in our TCHC housing and those in most need of access in our programs. And we barely touched on the notion of housing today and the need for greater investment in our shelter system. This is a particularly important day where we've got a cold weather warning out there and our shelters are likely running at 99% capacity. And that's because over the years we have not made the investments we needed to, both in emergency shelters and in the affordable housing that needs to follow. And Nicole, I think it was, you're quite right in assuming that we should be ashamed when we go home. I've been in this job for 6 years and all I've heard is the same sort of thing. Every year we can't do it, it costs too much, we can't do it, yet we're freezing taxes on people, and that's benefiting, well, yes, everyone gets a little bit of a benefit in the end, it's benefiting those with the most money the most. And it's not and that means that we're being put at greater distance between those that have and those that have not. And we need to stop that, and we should stop it today. I hope that we I hope that you continue your work in your community, because slowly and surely that work will continue to grow, and we'll be able to make that difference and build the city that you want us to, and you believe it should be. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I do want to thank everybody for coming out and their time to express their concerns and opinions with us. Thank you very much. All in favor of the motion, opposed, carried. Thank you. No problem.